Hey, we live, we live.
Hey.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but yeah, work in progress, all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
What's up? What's up? So, okay, for those of y'all who don't know, I'm Kendra. You should know if you're watching the video. Um, I have been like off and on trying to actually like do something with this platform that I call One Right Effort for like the longest time, right? I just be like so back and forth, and I'm like, I wanna do this, and then it just for whatever reason it doesn't work out. But we live. We live. No, okay, yeah. So for real. I basically just want to use this platform to showcase people who are honestly living out like their one right effort, doing like following their passion, living out their dreams, loving life in the process. We are all human, so I definitely understand that. But today, I am live with my best friend, Kirstin Smith.
Wait a
Hey!
minute.
Uh, and Kirsten has so much going on, so I'm super excited to have her here today. She's definitely somebody I look up to, and with like the utmost respect. For real,
Okay.
it's not just for show. Um, she has her own candle business, Jiggy Candles, which she will talk about. As I mentioned, she's my best friend. She is like honestly a role model for um, what like a good friend should be. And on top of that, she's a self-published author. She has her own poetry book out, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Something I've always wanted. So, uh, Kirsten, if you just want to like talk a little bit about yourself, kind of improv, and
Improv. So I would say I'm, just the hippie homie. I think that in regards to like the concept or the idea of like living out your truth or living out your life in a way that you can be passionate about or a way that like sustains love and that personifies love, the I feel that a part of the reason why I would be relevant in that capacity outside of just exploring different ventures and trying different things is the fact that like honestly I'm just living. I think that a lot of people overthink it, and instead of just doing things you have this planning process in the beginning, and it's like it's necessary to do that, but also at the same time we don't like as human beings, the thing that makes us different is the fact that we have like our consciousness, our spirit, the things that like remind us of what makes us happy. Like we need to be happy. Why do we like forget that part? So you'll
yeah,
like do this whole planning process and then forget that part altogether, and it's like you just eliminated humanity from life, and now you don't have love. You get me?
bro, hold on. I gotta stop you real quick. It's Taurus season, and you're really like sounding like a Pisces right now. So,
I'm going
no,
to.
I'm just
I have to. What? My babies is Tauruses. You know this. Okay? But yeah,
yeah.
I think that's primarily what it is. So like for me, I'm more of the person. It's not necessarily what I'm doing. It's the fact it's the spirit I'm doing it in. I think that's what's more important.
Yeah, I think
Like,
that's
am I
like
enjoying
honestly
it?
something like for me, I definitely look up to you because like whatever you're doing, like whatever, whether it's like your art or like with your children, like I feel like you're always like living out your truth, and that's definitely something I admire about you. So today a couple of topics I just wanted to kind of go over. One being like friendship. I did mention you my bestie, so bestie. What is this? I forgot the song. Bestie in the
I don't know.
Tesla or bestie? No, I don't know. I don't know either. I'm trying to
That
be
must thirty.
up with yeah. I just fall
Almost
behind.
30.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
okay. We
getting
not
there.
no. We not there yet.
Okay, okay. All right. All right, but
Uh,
we'll
um,
accept it next month.
yeah, maybe next month. But yeah, just like about friendship. So I just wanted to say a couple of the questions I have, like, what do you think is most important to you in a friendship? And yeah, let's start with that.
Hmm. I think that if I had to say what's most important to me in a friendship is the capacity to evolve and to like have compassion and to genuinely support the people around you. Like I have to love you conditionally in an unconditional way, and you have to reciprocate that. So like I want you to be the best version of yourself so that birds of a feather look good together on some you know, but
Yeah.
also at the same time it's like what makes you different than everyone else, right? Like
Mhm.
I can like if a stranger says, "How are you doing today?" It's like, "All right, I'm good." I don't think that they have anything to contribute. I don't think that they have anything necessary or anything of value outside of it. It just happens. It's like a miraculous experience that somebody impacted me. But a friend, those are people you look for to get those things. You feel safe in those things. You get me? Like
Yeah.
for me, when I think about my friends, like even when I think about you, like I can say all my friends are drastically different, but they make my spirit feel good. It's not just about my physical body. Like I might be upset with you in the moment, but like when I think about you in the moment, even if I'm thinking 5 years later, like we're still having that argument. It's not that you're not there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't think about it that way. It's like, nah, bro, like that's what my homie is. Like I don't care if I'm arguing with you or not. Like, are you in the room in the future? Because
Mhm.
if I don't see you in the room, you're not my homie.
Right. It's
And
like
there's
why even
like
put
few
that
people.
time, why even put that effort into, developing that. When you had mentioned like evolving, like can you elaborate a little bit on what you mean by that?
I think that if I were to talk about evolving specifically, I could like use us as an example. Like met freshman year in college, and then now we're like here, like on a platform talking about things that are important to us. Evolution is important because I had to respect you in every phase of you in order for me, like I said, conditionally unconditional. Like you never went left, but we held each other down while we went right. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
it's your counsel. You're like like for us as humanity, everybody changes. You don't have a constant thought. Like once you achieve something that you feel is satisfactory, you want the next thing. So I have to also respect that you are gonna want that as a friend too. Like, yeah, think about it. We met in college, then there's the Peace Corps. Then there's like I want to go into this other venture. Then there's that, and then you have me who's like, all right, we met in college. I stopped. You could have lost all respect for me in that moment. You
Mhm.
have people that do that, but you respect me in my evolution because even though we're not growing in similar directions per the way it looks, we're still growing together. There's still elements of life that we can respect within each other. And we're learning from each other, even though it looks different.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I
I think
mean.
that I think that's you kind of hit on something like it looks different from the outside, but I think until people are like in that relationship together, in that friendship together, they don't really understand what it looks like from the inside. So, dropping gems.
Yeah, bro, you can't. Like, I think that from the outside, everything looks how you want it to look, or how the person who's seeing it wants it to look. All of the things that you don't want anyone to see or don't want anyone to pay attention to are inside. You feel me?
Mhm.
Like those are the things you're capable of hiding, the secrecy, the comments that you feel safe having amongst each other. Like everything on the outside is irrelevant. It's like I've been on this thing lately where I'm like we have this big picture and then we start to ignore like the small pieces, like the where's Waldo? Like we're here for Waldo, but we're looking at this big picture. At some point you're gonna have to start to like narrow it in and go a little bit deeper. Like it
Hold on,
doesn't.
bro. You be, extravagant with your analogy.
I don't care.
I can't even talk today. Analogies. You got to
It's
break
not
that.
my.
Where's Waldo down for the people, and for me.
Okay. Okay.
I'm the people.
So when you think about where is Waldo, right? Like you have this canvas pretty much full of just random stuff. Like you got the hat, you got the lady in like the leopard tights, like all of these different things clustered in on this one page. And the goal in
Hmm.
all of this is for you to find Waldo. You feel me? So it's
Yeah.
like if you're paying attention to the outside, when it comes down to like that bond as friends, like the outside is, oh, this is what she has physically, this is what she has physically, this is what she understands from circumstances physically, this is what they understand. This is what they've been together. They're upset with each other right now. They're not gonna survive that. But when you start to like go deeper, like you start to go into finding Waldo, like what is the Waldo? The Waldo is the friendship, right? Like that
Yeah.
soul
Yeah.
connection, that soul tie. So it's like for me when I'm saying like the Waldo in it, you have all of this chaos around this one figure and this one thing that actually matters. Nothing else in the picture matters. It's just that. So the outside world sees what they see. But when
Right.
it comes down to evolution, when it comes down to respect, when it comes down to compassion and all of those things within a friendship, that's all spirit stuff you can't see. You can't see it, but I can. Like when I look at my homie in the eye, I know that she like feel me. Like, bruh,
Yeah.
like that telepathy shit when you like you lean over and it's like, oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, but that's what I mean.
Um, I guess also like on the topic of friendship, I seen a quote the other day. It was basically like you gotta acknowledge that you outgrow friendships. And that just kind of made me think about like, certain people that you just gotta let go, because you realize like like you don't really, I feel like you don't really realize it until you're like out from the outside, like looking in. Um, once again that analogy. But then you just kind of realize like how you mentioned like a friendship needs to be two-sided, like you have to both be in it.
Mm.
So kind of on that topic, we were talking about this earlier, but like what do you think are signs of like a toxic friendship? Because I think a lot of people are maybe have them or in them, but they don't really realize that. So what would you say kind of along those lines?
I think I think in the realm of friendship, I think that there's a difference between a toxic friendship and a toxic person. And I
Mm,
think both of them matter. So like a toxic friendship, I would look at that as like, what are y'all doing together? Like, are y'all only doing low vibe things together? Are y'all only happy when y'all talking about people not doing well? Like,
mm,
what is
yeah, that's
that?
good.
But then you have toxic people and all like you can deal with a toxic person just in passing. That's an energy thing, you feel me? Like you got that person that can't be happy for anyone. The person who like they're going through things, but like everybody got to go through it too. You feel
Right.
me? So I feel like when you combine the two, then it's like that I think that to identify that that's literally a feeling, bro. You know,
Yeah, I
like
think yeah, you know when you know, but it's like you just be so caught up in it, you're like,
you
but
know
you
I
don't really
like
know. Like, yeah.
I'm all churchy and stuff with it, and I feel like at the end of the day, Jesus Christ told everyone that there was a Judas. Said it out loud.
Yeah.
Like, there will be one that will betray me. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like we're green to think of, like, we're green to say that there will never be a toxic person or toxic friendship that makes it into our council of people. At
Mhm.
the end of the day, you got to be conscious of that too, because sometimes that toxic person, they might have something to learn from you. That toxic friendship might teach you something. Like, it is what it is. It's a course of life, but at the end of the day, we know. So it's also a thing of knowing how to treat people. Like I was talking to a homie the other day, and she's like, "Yo, I don't tell everybody everything. I give what I give to who I give it to." And that's
Right.
just what life is. Like you might have a few people, you might have like three people you can give everything to, but at the end of the day, at some point it's an accountability thing when you realize like I'm giving this to nothing. It's not going anywhere. Like you
Mhm.
know who empowers you.
Yeah, and I think that, it goes along with like just being cautious and conscious of like protecting our energy, um protecting our spirit just cuz I mean, honestly like yeah.
Toxic people don't like boundaries, bruh.
Yeah,
Toxic
for
people
sure.
get rid of themselves when you got boundaries, so you can't have a toxic friendship if the toxic person don't want to be there. As
Mhm.
long as you worried about your self-growth, your evolution, your peace, your journey in life to whatever your passion is, even if that passion shifts and changes throughout life, friends complement that because friends understand your psychology.
Right.
Toxic people, they get stuck wherever they get stuck and they don't belong. They're not gonna want like a toxic person will literally like even when you think about like the idea of like envy and stuff like that, like a toxic person will be they'll spend so much time paying attention to you that their whole life goes to waste. They'll get rid of themselves because eventually at some point if they want to live, they're gonna have to pay attention to themselves.
Yeah.
They're not gonna have time to worry about you and your shit. The ones who excuse me, but you know.
Would you say it's fair like to say just kind of real quick and then I want to get into to your ventures.
Right.
Um, but
Because
would
you
you
know
say
us.
it's fair? Would you say it's fair to say possibly like I think well how do I phrase it? Like I guess it's kind of like certain people are there for a season. Would you say it's fair to say, or the could you make the what am I trying to say? Could you say basically like, okay, this person might not be right for this season, but maybe down in the future, like sometime when they kind of like better themselves or they're on a different wavelength, maybe the same one you're on now, like they can come back around and y'all could be friends? What would you say along those lines?
If you don't water a seed prematurely, you can save it for later.
Hmm.
There's no reason for you to start something. Like, as long as you, whenever, like, check it. You get me?
Yeah.
Check it right there. It can't grow into anything. Like, you can always save a person. So, for example, right, if you have a person in your life, and this is just my perspective on it, you have a person in your life that's completely toxic, and like you can tell that it has nothing to do with you. It's not personal yet. You haven't
Mhm.
let it get personal, because eventually it'll get personal, because a toxic person is a toxic person. But it's not personal yet. You can have, like, for example, a conversation we were having earlier. You can have the conversation, address it, and then move on and save that for later, because at some point that person is going to realize, like, maybe they had my better interest in heart. Maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't just them being selfish or inconsiderate. If you don't water it prematurely, you can save that conversation for later. But you can't let it start to sprout into something and then go, all right, we'll figure it out later. Like, nah, bruh. It's dry rot
Yeah.
already. For
I feel
real.
that. So, okay, on the next topic, we did talk about well,
Bro, I'm really a poet. That's crazy. That's see good.
I mean, you're always
Quoting.
dropping gems. I tell you this all the time. Like, hello. Um, yeah. So I guess what do you want to talk about? Kind of you as an artist first, and kind of talk about how you got started. I guess not really started because I feel like an artist is it's just it's in your
You're
blood,
just born an
honestly.
artist. How did
Yeah,
I accept it?
but yeah,
I think that's the
exactly.
important part, the acceptance part. For real, because I think that, like you said, we're born like when you see children be children, they're beating on drums, laughing, like looking at you crazy, making jokes, stuff like that. Like, you're born with that natural essence, and then you go through life and you go through trauma and you start to pull back. I think that at some point, as a creative or as an artist in general, you have to accept, and I think that's the like turning point. That's the like the two lanes, because you got to accept, like, in your heart, what are you? Who are
Mhm.
you? At some point in your life, you're going to have to name yourself. At some point in your life, you're going to have to identify the things about you that matter to you, so that the things that matter to other people don't like get involved in your everyday living. So it's like, when you get to that point in your test, what is going to make you happy? And it's like, what are you okay with living with? Like, I don't care what people think about me. I don't care how people feel about me.
Oh, we
For real.
know.
But that's the truth. Like,
No,
I'm
but
in a Planet
yeah, that's
Fitness
why I love
t-shirt.
you.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, at some point, like, for me, authenticity is ingrained in who I am, and I can't deny it. So I'm not the person that can put on a face for 10 hours and that just be it. I have to strive for something different, or I'm not gonna feel fulfilled.
Mhm.
So for me, it's like, when you have that feeling in your chest, you recognize it. All of us know it. It's like, when you recognize what piques your interest, that creates passion, something that you would ride for. I don't care what nobody gonna think. If I gotta do it the hard way, I'm gonna do it the hard way, and then I'll be able to celebrate and reap with my family, my friends, like with my children. I'll be able to enjoy that with the people who belong there, and everyone else who were on the outside not paying attention to Waldo, they can do
Okay.
whatever they
Nah.
gonna do. Like, it's the truth.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, full
they can do
circle
whatever they gonna
for
do.
sure.
Real talk.
So kind of on that path of acceptance, like when did you accept that for yourself?
For me, I think that I accepted it around when we were in college. I didn't align with it until probably like 3 or 4 years ago, because I realized that, like, everybody tells you like how you're supposed to live, like, oh, you have to have this job, you have to do this with this, and it's like, bro, like, I'm watching a bunch of people around me that it just don't work.
Mhm.
It doesn't work. So at some point, like, it's like David and Goliath, like your Jonah and the whale situation. Like, at some point, you just gonna have to suck it up and go, okay, I gotta either, like, whatever you believe in, me, God, I gotta trust God that this power that I believe in, where I can ask for half a blessing, can give me a whole blessing. Like, at some point, I'm gonna have to believe that, like, yeah, I might not be able to identify my specific purpose, but I know what makes me happy. And God knows what makes me happy. I'm not hurting
Mhm.
nobody. if anything, my goal is to inspire and to empower people. I want to bring people closer to God and whatever God is to them in the healthiest way possible. You feel me? But it's one of those things where like the 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 difference between like the person who works the 9 to 5 and doesn't enjoy it is bravery. And it's like
Yeah.
at
Stepping
some
out on that
point,
leap of faith. Yeah.
and that's it. Like that's where like I'm just the type of person like, bro, I can't even lie. Like everybody can lie, but like I'm terrible at it. Like I'm gonna lie to you and you gonna know I'm lying to you because I don't even have the energy to put the effort into that type of inauthenticity. So what makes you think I'll be able to do that with my life?
Yeah, I
Like
definitely along those topics, like for sure, like I remember when I got upset with you because I asked your opinion and you told me the truth. I'm like, did she really have to tell me like all the truth, or could she just like have lied a little bit? Like, come on, save face. But yeah,
nope.
no.
Cause
Yeah.
some of us ain't never had nobody lie to us. Some of us out here really like even everybody's out here really living life. And if you pay attention to life, life ain't lying to you. It is what it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah. And I feel
You
like
change.
yeah, we've definitely found that out kind of like this last year for sure. I think a lot of people, um, it's just yeah, that has definitely come to light. So I guess kind of on that topic of your artistry, what was like the first kind of medium that inspired you, or where did you really find? Because now, I mean, you're doing a couple different things,
I think
along those lines. But what was kind of like the first
I
medium
think
or?
I think my initial passion is always going to be music and like things of that nature because I like the way that booms and claps feel in my chest. Like that thing I told you about, like that excitement, that passion. Like I'm extremely passionate. If I hear a vocalist, like I'm the one that pays attention, like if my like hair like raises. Like don't play
Mhm.
one of my favorite songs and try to have an intimate conversation with me. Like I'm not listening to you. So it's like and it's also for me, I think that for me as a poet, because it's music and poetry all together, because they kind of they dance with each other, and it's
Mhm.
like for me as a poet, the easiest way for me to communicate in my heart, honestly, is to illustrate. And even if it's not a visual illustration, like words and like beats make you feel those things. So like you feel sad when the song is somber. You feel me? Like
Mhm.
what are other ways? Because we have like journaling and stuff like that, but it's like what are other ways for us to be able to get that stuff out? And I think that music has traditionally been that. We just like let people do whatever they want with it, and that's a different conversation. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So on that topic, as I mentioned, Kirsten is a self-published author. She has her poetry book. I feel like, yeah, the lighting in here is bad, but something I've always wanted, and I can also post links. But can you talk about, I guess, kind of like the process of actually, of writing the book? For I guess if other people are interested, like what was that process like for you? What were those challenges? What were the joys in it?
So that okay, so in regards to the process of writing the book, I can say the book was the easiest part because the book, a lot of people, like when you're an artist or you're creative, a lot of the times the art itself comes naturally. It's
Mhm.
literally the process of navigating the emotions, people around you, because you're an artist. Like you're gonna be like you said, Pisces, sensitive about it. You feel me? In my chest. So it's like the poetry itself. I've always written poetry, so I can say that those are all different pieces from different time periods in my life, transitions and experiences. So even the way that they're broken down in the book and they're sectioned out, they all represent my perspective of the same things or the same feelings in different parts of my life. So it's like, ooh, I forgot what I was about to say.
Hey,
No, I'm
we
just kidding.
human. We human.
But nah, but nah, I feel like the poetry itself was the easiest part. I think that emotions when it comes down to like entrepreneurship and like being creative and stepping out and doing things like that, I feel like the emotional part is the most difficult part because you're so passionate, and I think that a lot of people who are wired to do things like create, like write, do anything like that, they're willing to jump out there for everybody else because when that time comes, we'll all like do it for each other, reciprocation of energy, and it's like a
Yeah.
passion project. And honestly, you just got to prepare yourself for the reality of the fact that like I said, life is what it is. a lot of people have things that they're doing, they have things that they're focused on, and you might feel like you're a priority, you might feel like you're concerned, but that's kind of like self entitlement. And you can have your feelings. Your feelings aren't wrong, but the hardest part is navigating those feelings and accepting that everybody's their own individual. So I can say that with the book, that part was it, because you get to the, hey, I need you to read this part. Can you like give me critiques on that part? And it gets a little bit harder because then you realize a lot of people comfortable with listening to you read it out loud. They don't want to read it themselves.
Mm.
And so there's that part, but then like after that, you get to your affirmations when you start to touch your books, when your things start to become tangible and you get to feel it. It's like it's kind of like every evolutionary process in life. So you start out at like your infancy, excited about everything, and then you start to realize what everything really is. And then by the time you're like 30 or almost 30, it's like it is what it is. You feel me?
Mhm.
But you put it out. Like when you're by the time you're 30, you are who you are. You feel me? But you put it out, and the people that are going to be impacted, the people who are going to love it, they're going to love it. And it's like that with anything. Like they tell you, your creative like endeavors are your babies. Like same thing.
What would you say, I guess, to somebody who was interested in creating their own book or like poetry book or just
I would say
like
just
just
write.
their own venture in general?
I would say I would say write. Like literally start out with writing, like come up with like different ideas because like we're like I said, we're always evolving, we're always changing. So you might have an idea you write down 5 days ago, and then like a year from now that 5 days ago is like $1 million. Like not I haven't hit a million yet, but I fully believe that I'm probably gonna do it in my life. Fully believe probably. You see that?
Manifest it,
But
manifest it.
but I think that you got to write it down because then when you come back to it later, you realize that you're still thinking about it. So then you start to action it out. When you're writing books, don't overthink it, just write. I think a lot of people overthink it, and it's like a part of the reason why people rock with you is your authenticity, and it doesn't matter what it is. It can be your music, it can be your art, it can be whatever your tangible products are. Like people are gonna rock with you in it. You feel me? So
Mhm.
it's like maintain your authenticity and just write. Just do it. Like we make excuses and it's like just
Yeah.
do it. And then accept the fact that like not everybody gonna agree with it. But you gotta just do it.
Yeah. I think that's like kind of just the motto or the underlying kind of theme is just like stepping out on faith and just with anything. So on that topic, my favorite, I have the book right here, so I'm just kind of flipping through it. A couple of my favorite ones, actually, it's ironic they're like right next to each other in the book, but Queen, just because I mean, I do think fully and to the utmost, I am a queen. So hey, there's
You got
that.
that nerves on them.
I have all the nerves. And then publicize me like never gets old. So, do you
Yeah,
want
publicizing is crazy.
to kind of share about either one of those and kind of the process or
I'm gonna follow
your
my heart.
thoughts?
I'm gonna follow my heart. My heart is
Okay.
publicize me
Okay.
because that poem makes me like that. I think like my hands are sweating to even think about the fact that in 2014 I wrote a poem about Mike Brown, Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin, and then like it's 2021 and
And it's
now
still
a
relevant.
Derek
Yeah.
Chauvin. But even with that, like just the fact that now, like we have literally watched black men, black women be slaughtered our whole lives. We've watched the facade change, and the fact that every word in that poem is relevant. Publicize me, place me on your screens and your cell phones and TVs, and then minimize me. Like, like it's crazy to me the fact that like there are so many like for us the trauma as a community, like the literal trauma as a community, the fact that our poets since we got here, the Maya Angelou's, the Nina Simone's, the Billie Holidays, we write in the same story, like the exact same narrative. And we've been writing the exact same narrative for this entire time, and it don't change.
Yeah.
I was, well, you got to think about it. I'm 27 now. That was 2014. It's 2021, bro. Like, fresh out of high school, that
Mhm.
poem was me, like, as a person who like came out there with y'all to Texas, like raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, like that poem was the equivalent of Billie Holiday riding through the like riding on that bus through the South and thinking like strange fruits hanging from the poplar trees. And it's 2021, and I got
Yeah.
kids, a son and a daughter. Like I can say, and I'm not like the cry on the internet kind of person because that's ugly to me. For real, that's ugly as hell. But it's just crazy
Nah,
to
but
me
you're just being
because
real. Like,
yeah, bro, like it's crazy because like bro, I wrote that poem in 2014. I remember when like I was walking the protest on the strip in Las Vegas, and it's like the protests keep getting bigger, but it keeps getting more rapid.
mhm.
Like the fact that we can say lynching is in our hands, just imagine the trauma in that statement. There's a difference between getting up and saying, all right, I'm about to have a good day. I'm about to be blessed. I'm going to go out there and God's going to make sure me and my family are good. And then you walk outside and you see a body hanging from the tree. But you wake up in the morning and in the first 5 minutes, you see a 16-year-old get shot by the cops, a
Mhm.
13-year-old get shot by the cops, a 20-year-old get shot by the cops. And you got cousins and you got brothers and you got family members out there. Like, it's just crazy. Think like just the inherent trauma that we have to experience every day, and then we just hear. And then there's that poem that I wrote in 2014, and then there's like Cinnamon by Nina Simone. Like there are all of these songs and these art, like these artistic perspectives, and it's like why for us as a community of Black people our escape is created in our mind. Like when you say the whole thing of like, what made you, what makes you, like, does anybody ever stop to think like, for us as Black people, that's the only thing we have? Because the life we wake up to every day don't give me hope. We created that in our chest. We
Mhm.
get that from God. We have to like serve something.
Yeah.
Even if it's money over bitches, bro, like whatever it is, like for us as a community, if we don't do that, we disgrace our ancestors and we are miserable for the rest of our lives. That's what it is. That's what that bravery is. I got a son and a daughter, and it would kill me. It would kill me for, not it's four. It would kill me if at any point I was to know for a fact that in 12 years, somebody like will pull up on her to jump her, and then like the first choice is to shoot her. It don't matter what the circumstance is. I have never witnessed a fight with any human beings where my first thought is to shoot and kill somebody. Like just
Mhm.
think about that. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm passionate about that shit. But that poem is the one that like strikes me. Like Queen is relevant. Queen is definitely relevant because Black women are always beautiful, but it's so hard to be beautiful in this world. Like it's so hard. And so it's like that's the duality, right? Because you look at Queen, and if you were to read Queen contextually, it's like the strength of our community, the pride, the grace, the love, the nurturing. And then you have Publicize Me, where the last line of it is place me what is it? Place me in a world with a
I was like, let
photo
me open
of
it.
your world at my feet. like like what is the last line of it? It's like a Black girl with a photo of your world at my feet. Like you go from Queen where it's like you are, but then you go to Publicize Me where it's like you also are.
Yeah, you had it right. You had it right. I think you hit on a like so many things. Kind of just moving. Well, not really moving into it. It's like segueing, but like I think you hit on like it's so important like now more than ever to actually like be a part of a community, and I think that resonates with a lot of people. Just
Yeah,
kind of
be
like
brave.
finding your tribe, and I
Well,
mean,
we gotta
because
be
we
brave.
can't, yeah, we can't do it alone. So that kind of, yeah, amongst basically like everything you said, but yeah, that stuck with me. What were we gonna say?
I was just saying this it's about being brave. Like all of
Mhm.
this. When like even what you're trying to do, right? Like you're being brave to get on a platform and have a conversation you've never had before. Because a lot of people got to go through 100 layers of themselves to even get to that point. I'm being brave by going, I'm going to authentically put my art out there and I'm going to be a human being that feels regardless of what it looked like, right? It's literally like when you think about the poems, when you think about all of this stuff, it's like at some point you're just going to have to suck it up and be brave or be miserable. That's
Yeah.
it. That's literally the whole point. Be brave.
Speaking of being brave, speaking of being brave, not only do you have this your poetry book, but you've started your own candle company as well, Jiggy
Hmm.
Candles, which I have some of them here. This lovely one,
And
I
that's what a real friend
I
is
feel
here.
like
She
yeah,
is literally pulling.
I'm like, which one is this? Because I lost the cap. I think this one. Which one is the one that has like all the pretty stuff in it?
That's the lavender sandalwood.
Lavender Valentine, right?
Yeah, the sandalwood one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I like love. Okay, I'm obviously promoting my best friend, right? But like, I just love these candles for the fact that like they're aesthetically pleasing. A lot of candles you get, like they might smell good, right? But like when you look at them, they're just basic. So like these, I feel like amongst the all the love put in them, this one has like real flowers. And what else does this one have in it?
Oh, what do you mean?
Like what
Microdose?
else is actually in it? It has like crystals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
the candles.
don't give away your secret ingredient, but I mean,
I
like,
mean, it's
I wish I could
2021.
tip this candle, but yeah, I don't. That's not the safest option. So,
So basically, all of the candles are like specific, scents, fragrances, like everything, like every candle. But the unique thing I think, well, what I think is unique about it is the fact that like they are crystal candles and they're designed to be just as aesthetically pleasing as they are in regards to the fragrance. So the goal is like, say for example, if you are meditating and like you open up your eyes and you like get distracted, you're still zoned in on something. You feel me? And it's aesthetically pleasing. Like the jiggy candle is the candle that like you don't just walk past because like you'll smell it, but then you also gonna want to stop and go, oh, like that's
what's in
pretty.
there? Yeah,
Yeah, it's like to me, I don't know, like when I make them, it literally feels like therapy in a candle because then you also have like crystals and they're like charged with intent. Like so you're getting amethyst for balance, rose for love, depending on whatever the candle is, and there's like a variety of them. But that's more or less what it is. Like the candle, the entire intention around the candle is for you to have something or to get something spiritual or like even if it's not spiritual, just like to have a better day, bro. Like you sit there, you can research
I
what
feel
this
like we
crystal
all
means.
definitely could use more of those,
Yeah, bro.
for sure.
Like let's be happy, man. This is
Yeah.
pretty. It's okay to have like pretty and chaos.
On that kind of like same topic, like you're doing all these ventures and just taking these leaps of faith and being brave. Amongst like also balancing the whole aspect of motherhood, like how do you
Mhm.
do it?
Just do
I
it.
know women are like superheroes, but I mean, like
It's
how does
just
that work? Like what have you found to be most beneficial in that process?
in all honesty, you just gotta do it. Like, I think that becoming a parent gives you like a certain set of disciplines that you have already. Like just because like my bare minimum is already taken care of. Like I have kids. So when it comes down to trying to figure out bills and like being available and stuff like that part is the priority, but it also helps me to develop the skill set for what is next in the priority. So
Mm,
like I know that I want my kids to live a pretty dope life. Like I know that I want them to not want for anything. So it's like I think being it's the idea of not being selfish. Like I think a lot of people look at immediate satisfaction or that immediate feeling of relief. Like yeah, I mean it might be you might have like your kids might have like the flyest stuff, but you might have to look rough. You feel me? For a little bit.
mm-hmm.
Like it's just accepting the process. I think kids literally teach you to accept the process because you can't change it regardless. I was gonna go from waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a baby to waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning with a 2 year old. Somebody
Yeah.
yelling, somebody screaming. It's like you have to like one thing that all mothers have to realize is regardless, you have to make time for yourself. Children don't mean impossible. Like a lot of people look at kids and equate them to impossible, but it's like no, it just means you got to try harder or you have to like work a little bit harder like to create a different circumstance. It's not easy, but like you got to think about how many mamas you see out there every day like even just to get up and go to work. or the ones who are working through pregnancies, stuff like that. Like being, it's a. I think that it's literally something you just do, and if you want more for your kids, you're gonna get more for your kids. Like, or you're gonna try. I think most moms can't live with not trying.
Mhm.
So for me, in regards to prioritizing, like it's not even a blueprint to that. It's not a blueprint to raising kids. Like I might plan out a whole 2 weeks,
And then not
and
even.
then a kid gets sick.
Yeah. And you're like,
Like
yeah,
real
but you
talk.
just kind of got to roll with it.
But
Yeah.
I can say it's not something that you do on your own. I can say that a support system is very relevant. Like you have to have people around you that are patient, that are loving, that are mentally in a place to be able to like tolerate, but like also like appreciate children too. Like if I'm on a call and like for me, as, for example, as an entrepreneur, like and as a person who has a business that I run from home, like if I'm talking to somebody and like middle of nap time, now somebody wake up in the background screaming, I run. It's like it's a how do I explain it? Like people have empathy when you're real. You get me?
Mhm.
So people are patient when you're real. There's not an unrealistic expectation when you're like, yo, I got 2 kids, so if one gets sick, I might not make it on time.
Yeah.
It's like it's your responsibility to figure that out. But then also in that whole where's Waldo concept, the people around me understand that I got kids. So the people I work with, like for example, I just did a photo shoot. People I work with, I'm gonna shout him out. It's my cousin. He's mad at you. But I have my kids there. So in the middle, like in breaks, it's like he's going to go get water for the babies, and then we come back to take photos. It's like you don't have everyone that's that type of patient around you, but it's unrealistic for you to feel like you're going to be successful when you're not around those kind of people. So that I feel like that's it. It's like the balance of just being a mama in general and not having a choice, but then also having people around you that are patient, that are kind, and that are understanding of what your circumstances are too. Like not everybody gonna want to help, but some people gonna help because mamas need help and they know that.
Yeah.
like,
So just
but
kind of
it's
like
not.
making sure you have the right people in your circle and your tribe to help you be successful. I think that's kind of the
Yeah,
main. Yeah.
and it's
Um,
literally do it.
I can't believe so yeah, like this is the first time I've done this. I think you've been on some calls before. Like
Like
yeah.
live
This is like my first
one.
time. So, we're
I've been
just,
on
improvising, rolling with the punches. But
right.
I can't believe
Like I
yeah,
don't
it's
even know how to
almost been
say.
like an hour. That's crazy. It just feels like so natural. Like I'm just talking to my
See,
best
I
friend
told you
because
you
I
like
am.
it. But you like it. You like doing
Uh,
it.
so a couple things before we go. Um what's next for you, or what does that continuous growth process look like for you?
So, what's next for me is
Like
what's next
so.
for me is
Hold on.
for
Let me just think.
real, for real. Cause like I feel like you know my heart. So I think what's next for me is that phase of just trusting God. I feel like you know how Nit in dedication was talking about like when that moment of opportunity meets preparation. I've been
Ye-
preparing. Now I'm about to trust God to open up my doors for opportunity. So when it comes down to Jiggy, I've literally sat down and I've done my silent parts. I'm gonna start, pushing for that a lot more, being more open about that. I think that it's literally just the conquering fear of being stagnant. But what's next for me is literally like I plan on putting out another book, but I'm gonna take my time with that, be patient, and take it as it comes because, like you just said, there are a lot of things, but like that's the next step. Like I feel like when it comes down to our blueprints, like moving forward, and you already know how I am, but when it comes down to our blueprints, like you just gotta trust something other than yourself because, like you said, last year showed us that you can only do what you can do.
Mhm.
You have some people working dream jobs and living dream lives that are like not right now. So it's like the mental health, the spiritual health, all of that stuff, that's what's next. Let me learn how to be able to live with being happy versus just trying to be happy. Because I don't think a lot of people know how to live with that. Like a lot of things been working out. You gotta say like what's next. It's like there's this insatiable feeling to go for what is next, but then also it's like I'm already blessed, bro. I'm 27. I published a book. I run a podcast by myself. I have a business. I have 2 kids that are healthy and beautiful. Like, it's like, what's next? What is
Yeah,
happening? You feel me?
exactly. Yeah. And
So,
I think it's yeah. I guess Yeah, my question's just a question, but I really like how you kind of sum that up. Like, we're always searching for like the next thing, but like living in the moment and being present and just being grateful and trusting is like um, so
You can
much more
only
bigger
work
and
so
more
hard.
important than what we realize, you know?
Yeah, you can
For
only do
sure.
so much until that opportunity meets preparation. But you can only how much you gonna prepare? Really,
Yeah.
you gonna build a boat and they ain't got no water in front of you. You have to wait for the rain, and you can't make it rain.
Hey, hey, hey. Some people might see it
Hey,
different.
hey. All right.
So okay, before we go, just because I mean we're human, we have other things going on today. Can you, I guess, share what if somebody wanted to purchase your book or like wanted to check out Jiggy, like where could they find that? All that good stuff.
Okay. So you can find the book, Something I've Always Wanted, on Amazon. It's in Kindle and it's also hard copy. But you can find that on Amazon. Then you can also, when it comes down to the Kindles, there's on all social media. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, it's at Jiggy Candles with an S. The website is www.jiggy, Jiggy, candle with no S.com.
Hey, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from the
So,
mouth of.
produced by a water sign, and I act like it.
uh,
Emotional Pisces.
All right, bro. I just wanted to thank you again for, coming on. I honestly, like, I've been making so many excuses with this platform, One Right Effort, but like deep down in my heart, I was like, I can't do this first without, like, with anybody else besides Kirsten. Like, just because, like, you're basically like the whole person like that I've told so much about it, and
Yeah,
like it just wouldn't feel right, bro. So I'm super glad that we kind of got to do this today. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just like you said, just
it
do
is
it. Like, just trust
perfect.
it.
It is perfect because
Because we
think
here.
about it. Exactly. Like,
Yeah,
bro, Waldo, how
for
many
sure, for sure.
people do I know that can pull up the book, that can pick up the candle, and then, like, that's what this is. Like, bro, I ain't got
Yeah.
no choice. That's currency. This is real bartering right here. Love you.
Okay,
Okay?
I love you so much. Stay tuned for One Right Effort. The next time, you never know who you're gonna hear from because I have a lot of dope ass friends. So yeah, stay tuned. Check out Kirsten's stuff, her book and candles. But just thanks so much for tuning in today, y'all. Have a blessed day as always. Peace.